Hey guys, it's June 26th right now, and I'm going to go out and put some trail cameras up, give you guys a little bit of an update on my private ground I've been working on that Dane's helping me with, and we kind of take you along. I got something else in the video later on where I think I'm going to go to a spot where I shot a buck last year and I made some mistakes and ended up not finding the buck, but I was going to show you that setup. Something else I wanted to show you. Check this out real quick. I've made 4 or 5 self bows now, but I'm working on another one. So I thought maybe you guys would be interested in seeing that. Something I probably do a lot of hunting with this year. I try to set goals every year before I go hunting, or before hunting season starts. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best trophy hunter. It's hard for me to pass up a a nice deer. And whenever I'm using my traditional gear, it kind of, I don't know, it gives me a sense of accomplishment that I can't really find anywhere else, and it's just hard for me to put down traditional gear. Just kind of in me. I can't really explain it. It's kind of like you love your kids. Why do you love your kids? Well, it's hard to explain, right? Well, I just love traditional archery. Time to go spend all my money on lithium batteries. All right, got some batteries, and I was going to show you guys something. In southern Indiana, we get a lot of bad flooding in my area, and I don't know if you can tell out there, but that was a bean field, and it was completely underwater the other day. You can see how brown it is. Here's a little section of cornfield that we got completely underwater, and all that through back there is also all damaged. So we got like 5 inches of rain in one little shout here. So yeah, I don't know, sucks for farmers down through here. All right, just got to my private spot here. I got some 2,4-DB in my sprayer here. My clover plot I planted was in an old CRP field, so there's lots and lots of weeds. So last week I sprayed it for grass with clefidome, and then this week I'm planning on spraying it for broadleaf with this 2,4-DB. So we'll see how the food plot looks though before I spray. All right, made it to the food plot, and it looks way better right now than it did earlier in the year. I think that grass that I sprayed with clefidome really helped, but I still have quite a bit of broadleafs in here, but you can see that the clover looks pretty good. It's nice and thick. I'm gonna have to come in one more time and mow it probably this year, and then I should be good. I'm debating on even spraying it again with that clefidome, or that 2,4-DB. I think I might, just because I'm out here, just a light spraying, because I do see some broadleafs that are still pretty prevalent. So spray it real quick. It's only half an acre. It won't take me very long. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my cell cam up somewhere. Another reason I want to spray is because I do have some of that plot booster in my tank that will help push the plants on a little bit further. So all right, let's get to spraying. All right, that job's done. Now I just got to decide where I'm going to put my my trail camera at here, and I'm thinking probably maybe on one of these trees in here, just kind of overlooking the food plot. My suspicion is they're either going to come from that little bedding area, or they may bed right in here along the edge of the field, and that's a really nice bedding area down through there. I also cut a path with my tractor. You can see it right there. I cut it from the food plot to the bedding area. Sounds like a beagle hound running some rabbits over there. Planning on putting a tree stand in that tree right there. Reason being, it's really the best option as far as like diameter of tree and stuff. Won't be able to get it very high. It'll only be about 12 feet right there in that little gap right there, and then I'll have maybe a 20-yard shot to that path that I mowed, and then hopefully You know, the deer will feed out in here in front of the stand. I tried to fertilize and lime and stuff a little heavier right here, just in hopes to attract them to this side of the food plot. So let's figure out where we're going to put this trail camera and get it set up, and I'll gotta show you guys my trail camera setup, I guess. All right, I got everything cleaned up and all the limbs out of the way. Obviously on private land, it's one of the benefits of it. Cut stuff down, but I'm going to use this Exodus Render trail camera on this food plot this year. I got a couple of these I bought. I'm going to try them out. Big fan of the Exodus Trek, the cheaper version, and I'm also a big fan of Exodus in general. They seem to be like good guys, and they go above and beyond compared to a lot of other trail camera companies as far as I'm concerned on providing content and informing their customers on not only how to deer hunt but how to use these trail cameras. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how this thing works. I'm sure it'll work good. Exodus is kind of known for good quality, and they got that 5-year warranty, which is nice. So yeah, let's get this thing on the tree and get to taking pictures. Having a quality cell cam, I think that's a benefit I see a lot of times, is that the service is really good. I can't call or text out here where I'm standing on my Verizon phone, my cell phone, but I got plenty of bars here, so we'll see how it does. All right, all buttoned up and ready to go. Let's go check on my bean plot real quick, and then let's get it to some public land, right? Alrighty, I'm at my bean plot now. I'll show you guys some stuff I did here, just trying things out. This is our shooting house that you saw in the video 2 of my habitat improvement we put up. I actually took my tiller and I kind of tilled around it here and then down the food plot, and I planted some, I think it's called Fortress by a company called Grandpa Ray's. It's like a mixture of stuff that gets really tall, and it you know, helps block block the deer's vision in and out of the food plot. Gives them an idea of feeling safe, I guess. So we'll see if it comes up. I'm not seeing a lot of growth. There's a few little things here and there, but I honestly just did this about a week ago, so probably just need to give it more time. Yeah, and then I also, while I had my tractor out here, I went ahead and just mowed a path all the way down to the crop fields that are down in there. And my thinking was, or is, with this the screening is what it's called, a screening. I put this path 20 yards from that shooting house right there. So I planted the screening down all the way down the edge of the food plot, and then all the way down into the front of the shooting house. So I'm hoping that it filters the deer into this path that is going to be 20-yard shot from the shooting house there. I also put it kind of around the back of it, so that, say there was deer out in the food plot and I needed to get down and get back home, or something, or whoever's hunting here needed to get down and get home, you could sneak out the back of the shooting house and exit without them seeing you. So it was it wasn't very much seed. It was like 20 bucks, and I thought I'd give it a try. Now to the fun part, the bean plot. It looks really good, man. You guys can see those are all beans out there. So far so good. Obviously it's end of June now, still early to see you know, if the deer are going to eat them to the ground or anything, but right now it looks really good. I do have some bare spots, but kind of is what it is. So but I did everything I was supposed to. I sprayed them when I needed to. I fertilized, I put lime down. So now we're going to go put a trail cam on it to see how much they're using it. All right, so now I'm going to go over to another spot here on this little piece of private I have. where I did some hinge cutting. I'm going to check that out, and then I'm going to throw a trail camera up over in that area. The spot I never hunted on this farm that kind of Dan picked out on a map for me to go check out, and ended up being really good. Imagine that. So this is a big creek that runs all the way down pretty much forever, and every year the farmer plants corn in this field, and typically he won't plant it up, I don't know, a few rows he'll leave so he can get tractors and stuff down the edge of the field to harvest. But this year they planted all the way against the edge of the creek, so a little bit of bummer for me, because it'd be harder to get down through there, because we do have a stand at the very end here, or down the creek quite a ways. It has produced for us in the past, but I don't know, I may have to take a weed eater or something and weed eat the weeds out so we can walk down it. All right, looks like you can always see a lot of tracks here at this creek crossing, and there is a decent buck track right there. But man, there's a lot of coyote tracks in here. This farm is notorious for lots of coyotes. So yeah, probably should have put a camera up right here over this little crossing, but see what it looks like over here first. When I came in here this spring, the deer trails were really obvious in here, and if you look at the video one of my property improvement videos, you'll be able to see that. And there's a bunch of scrapes and rubs and stuff, but everything's real grown up in here, and you can't hardly tell what's going on anymore. But I just walked up as I was talking to you. There's a bedded on this tree, pretty good sized one too. So it's a good sign. I'm going to walk a little bit farther and then put the trail camera up and just sneak back out of here. I don't really want to put a lot of pressure. I think once I get up in here a little farther, oh, another bed right there. I shouldn't be as much vegetation because of there's a lot more large trees up here that'll shade out the bottom of the forest floor. Okay, so what I'm thinking for this camera is, obviously they're bedding back here where I walk through at, so I don't want to walk through there to get to this camera, because I'm not going to put a cell cam up here. I just don't have that many of them. And then if you can see behind me here, it's not nearly as thick, and it seems like that's probably where the deer are going to stage at before going out to the crop fields. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put it somewhere along this big creek so that I can actually come down the creek and just pop up here real quick, grab the SD card and leave. So I'm going to kind of look around here to see what I think is the best option, and then put the camera up near the creek so I can access this location through the creek and not spook a bunch of deer coming in. Okay, so right up in there about, I don't know, 80 yards is where I did all the hinge cutting, and you can see that it's pretty open right through here. So I think I'm going to put the trail camera right here. There's actually a path, I don't know if you can see it, but it goes kind of right through there, and then I'll be able to get down onto this sandbar that you can see there, and then probably have to wear waders across this this little creek here. Not a little creek, it's a big creek, and then climb up through here and grab the SD card, and then I can just slide right back out without anything seeing me. And then we'll probably put a setup right here too this summer when I got some help to do that. Okay, instead of overthinking it, I think I'm just going to put it right here in this tree, so I can just hop right up here, take a few steps, get the SD card, get back out of here real quick. I would recommend anytime you guys are putting anything in the woods that you have to check, like a trail camera, first of all, not checking it very often. Just, don't be checking it every few days or even every week. I'd at least leave it soaked for a couple months, and then think about how you're going to get to it without spooking deer. Sometimes it's hard to do. I think this is a pretty good plan as long as I can be quiet. So just a quick tip, and a lot of you guys probably know this, but I figured it's worth telling you. If you have a trail camera that doesn't have a viewing screen, which most of them don't, what I like to do is I flip my camera around like this on my cell phone, and then just put it up here onto the screen, and you can see there it actually gives you a pretty good idea of what you're going to be seeing on the trail camera. So just a quick pointer there. All right, I got the trail cam set up. I'm gonna just take a gander at these hinge cuts I did. I didn't do a very good job, to be honest with you. I kept cutting too far through the tree, but nothing else. I created a whole bunch of opportunities for them to bed. But yeah, let's go take a look. All right, so a whole bunch of the hinge cutting I did all through there. It looks pretty good, really. I think you can see some regrowth on a lot of them. That one fell off. You can see I cut too far through it. But then you can see all the regrowth on that one. You can see a bunch of regrowth on that one, all down through here. Now, the question is, are they using it for bedding? I'm gonna go kind of look around them to see if there's any beds. There's some beds right here underneath this tree, but not seeing anything by the hinge cuts yet, but let's keep looking. Right there's a bed, hinge cut there, hinge cut here, and they bedded right between it here, so that's a good sign. And keep on looking. Another hinge cut that I did a pretty poor job at. Yeah, look here. There's beds right through there. I know it's hard to see. I'm not going to jump over this log to show you, but so maybe it's successful. I don't know. Maybe they've been bedding here anyway. But yeah, I probably hinge cutted maybe 20 trees, which is a fair amount. So yeah, I don't know if you want to call them hinge cuts because they didn't turn out very good, or I didn't do a very good job. I didn't have a habitat pole to pull them down and all that stuff, and the one I made broke, so it was kind of a cluster the whole time. So I think I improved that area for bedding for the deer, and then right outside the area in that open spot, kind of where I have that trail camera, is where I saw some big scrapes and some good sized rubs. So maybe by improving that, it'll give the deer even a better sense of security, and big bucks will use it more often. Yeah, here I'm back to where I put my trail camera, and you can actually it blends into that tree really well. It's about the same color as that tree. But what I'm going to do is probably I'll pick out a tree to set in, and probably just use my beach stand to come in here and set and not bother it anymore. But what I would do is I would pick a tree out right here along the creek, and then hunt this on an east wind, which you don't get very often. You could also hunt it on a south wind, which would be a southeast. But anyway, I think what I would do is probably hunt that tree right there. It's a pretty straight one that's overlooking this area, because the deer, unless they go out to the crop fields, they kind of have to filter through here to get out of these fences or whatever, these agriculture fences. Yeah, a guy could sit in one of these trees too. I don't know if I like that though, because you're really on top of them, and they'd be kind of facing you. They'd be walking straight to you the whole time. So I kind of like these ones right off the creek a little better. Yeah, all right. As my son would say when he gets in my truck, hot. I All right, all done with this piece of private. Got 3 trail cameras up on it. I don't run a whole lot of trail cameras on my private land. Just a couple of cell cams usually, and then if I'm in a new spot, I'll throw a if I got a new spot, I'll throw a non-cell cam up just to monitor it, and then see how things go. Heading over to some public now. Gonna go to a spot where I shot a buck last year and didn't end up finding him, and hopefully you guys can learn from some of my mistakes there, and I'll go over that when we get there. All right, I'm in the area where I shot that buck this year, and I think I'm gonna just show you where I shot him at, what tree I was in, and then kind of work backwards from there, show you where he came from and where he was bedding at, and then talk to you about the mistakes I made, why I didn't kill the deer. Alright, so I was sitting in this tree right here. I was just kind of up here in this little gap. It wasn't very high, maybe 12 feet off the ground. And what tipped me off to this spot was I noticed walking in there was an open scrape line, and I mean a lot of scrapes, probably saw 20 coming in, and essentially they came into this bedding area that I'll show you here in a second. Now I set up here in this tree, and the last scrape I got to was underneath this tree right here. I don't think you can see it anymore, but it was underneath these limbs. So I had a really close shot to this last scrape that I felt like I was close enough to bedding where I didn't want to get any closer. Now this time of year, this was in late October, probably maybe October 20th. I can't really recall the exact date it was. I could go back and look at footage, but anyway, what I'm at here is I'm on this side ridge that comes down off of a main ridge. So it's not a really defined point, but it's the ridge kind of stops and then comes back downhill towards the crop fields that are behind me here. Those deer like to bed, what I have found, the deer like to bed on the other side of that ridge. There's a lot of layovers and stuff, and it's real kind of thick, and they'll bed on the other side of the ridge, and then when it gets dark, get up and make their way down here to the crop fields at night. And yeah, that's where I kind of the setup I had when I shot the deer. You can see, I think right here is one of the old scrapes. There's also some good bedding back this way that I have jumped bucks out of, and in fact I saw a nice buck in that bedding area during turkey season this year, and I have footage of him, and I'll insert that right here. I think I have footage of it, I may not anymore. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead up here and go to the top of the ridge and kind of show you guys the bedding. If I had to estimate, I'd say I'm 100 yards from it right now, which sounds like kind of a far distance, but in hill country it's kind of your best, it's your only option. A lot of times if you push too close in hill country, the deer are going to have the advantage because they're up high typically, and they can see a lot farther in hill country than they can like in a swamp. And that's also typically it's just a bunch of hardwoods, right? So you don't have you know, any cover per se to hide yourself, and plus it's really noisy walking in hill country, especially when it's dry out. So things to think about when you're hunting hill country. So I'm on this ridge going up to the bedding, and the main ridge runs through here, and then it kind of stops up in this area, and then it forks down. That side goes down to another bedding area. This ridge, or this fork, goes down to the crop fields. So this is why I decided to sit on this ridge instead of the other one. One, there were some open scrapes that looked really fresh, and then two, I assumed that the deer are going to be making their way down to the crop fields at night. So let's go look and see if we can find some beds. Alrighty, I'm on the top of the main ridge now, and just going to show you guys real quick where I find these deer bed a lot on this ridge. It's kind of open on the left side of the ridge. We're going to call it the left side of the ridge or the west side of the ridge. And then on the east side here, there is a lot of layovers. I don't know if you can see them all down through there. There's a lot of just brush and shrubby stuff all down through there. And so, to the best of my knowledge, I think the deer bed on a west wind over here, and then at night get up and mingle over to the crop fields, and then they still have the wind in their favor. I actually hunted this. It was blowing out of the kind of the south when I hunted it, which let me get away with a little bit more. So anyway, I'm not going to go down in there and disturb anything. This is a spot that's kind of been tried and true for me. No reason to go down there and mess it up or kick deer out of that area. So yeah, whenever you guys are in hill country, try to find the thick areas. A lot of times it's kind of monotonous, and you know, those points and all that stuff that Dan talks about, it's obviously places you want to look as well. But I have found a lot of deer just like they'll like areas that are a lot thicker. Something where, I don't know, trees falling over and the sun's able to get to the forest floor a little better. As long as they still got the wind in their favor, they tend to use those areas. So let's go back down to where I shot the deer, and I'll kind of talk about what went wrong. Okay, so I'm standing right here where the buck was standing when I shot him, and then that tree right there is where I was sitting, and that's about where I was, about right in there. It was one of those deals where I had about 3 or 4 minutes of shooting light left, probably a little more than that, but it just felt like things were coming to an end, if you know what I mean. The deer was here working the scrape, and he came from up on top of the ridge, like I said. The problem that I kept having, now I'm only probably 15 yards from here, but he would not turn broadside. He was sitting here facing me the whole time, working these branches and on this these limbs and stuff on this scrape. And now there was scrapes all down through there too, that I assumed he was working towards. But nonetheless, he sat here and was facing me a long time. I don't know how long it was. It was probably not as long as what it felt, but I had my bow ready to go as soon as he turned broadside, and instead of turning, you know, broadside and giving me a shot, he simply just started walking forward. That back kept on going down the ridge. So I had this false sense of security with my setup last year, and it bit me in the butt twice. I kind of fell under that heavy arrow FOC cult or crowd, whatever you want to call it, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and I'll still shoot that this year. But I think the way people present that, the way people kind of push it, is they act like anything you shoot at you're going to go through, and it's just not true, guys. I'll tell you my setup. I had a 70-pound bow at 28-inch draw. My arrow was 610 grains. I had a cut-on contact broadhead. I'm not going to talk about which one it is. It was a good one though. Yeah, hit the deer square in the shoulder from whatever it was, 15 yards, probably closer than that, and didn't penetrate. So a lesson I learned last year on shot placement is, yeah, get off that shoulder a little bit. It's not worth the risk to me. It happened to me twice last year. My bow was tuned perfectly. Nothing like that was wrong. It just, I don't know. I couldn't put a 610 grain cut-on contact arrow through that shoulder blade, and I had it in my mind that I could. So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. I'm just a guy that deer hunts a lot. I don't necessarily know everything, or maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about here. But from my experience, that's what happened to me. So enough of the sadness and the disparity of shooting a deer and not finding it. But let's go ahead and put a trail camera up here somewhere and get out of here. So right here is an area where there's an old scrape. Typically I like to put my trail cameras on public over scrapes if I can find them, just because the deer actually hit these scrapes over and over again all summer long. They may not work them or anything, but they'll come and check them if they're walking by them. So gives you a good opportunity to get some decent pictures on public land if you can find a scrape. All right, I got that one all set up. Pretty big track coming in here, so hopefully put a big one on that camera this year. So I was when I'm traveling anywhere I go out of my way to look at a piece of public, and right now is just a prime example. There's this little piece of strip of public that runs next to this this little crop field, little bitty crop field, and I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to buzz over there and drive around that field, see if there's anything out in it. It's 2 o'clock right now. It's 90 degrees. It's hot, and sure enough, I came around the corner and there's a nice buck out in that field. And so now I got I dropped a pin on my Onyx here. Probably go in there and check it out at some point in time. And yeah, another tip for you guys: whenever you're driving around, just anywhere, going anywhere, stop by some public spots, just look around. Even if it's just a drive-by, you never know. All right, guys, that'll probably do it for this video. A little bit of a different type of video, kind of a vlog style video of me just doing summertime chores for my deer hunting stuff. Let me know if you liked it or not. I could do more of this type of thing. Also, don't want to just bore people to death, but if you guys don't mind, we hate asking to do this kind of thing, but go ahead and like the video and subscribe to our channel if you don't mind, if you like what we're doing. There's a lot of benefits for us to get you guys to do that. It helps us get recommended, which in turn brings more views into the channel, which in turn motivates us to keep making good content for you guys. So yep, let us know if you have any questions, as always, and leave them in the comments section below and we'll try to get to them. So talk to you guys on the next one.